also joined here today by Ambassador Kenneth Quinn, the president of the World Food Prize Foundation. And my dear friends, Mr. Kola Adeshina and Mr. Tuji Owenye, thank you for coming all the way from long distances to join me today, and my colleagues and friends from the African Development Bank and from around the world. I see some of the governors of the African Development Bank, the Minister of Finance of Niger that is here, and Your Excellencies, thank you for coming, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am delighted to be here today. It is such a great honor to have been awarded the SunHak Big Prize. I would like to heartily congratulate my co-laureate, Waris Dire, and commend her for her global fight against female genital mutilation. This prize is not about me. No one should ever work to win a prize. I serve God and humanity. For my life is only useful to the extent to which it helps to lift millions of people out of poverty. But when one's effort is recognized, then one is very humbled indeed. So thank you so very much to the chairman of the committee of the SunHak Peace Prize Foundation and nominators from around the world for this great honor bestowed on me. The SunHak Peace Prize is a call to do more for the world, and by the special grace of God, I will. I wish to commend the founder, Dr. Mrs. Hakjan Han-moon, for setting up the SunHak Peace Prize to recognize work to make the world a better place. The ideals that you stand for a world where we live in peace, one with another, is not only a decent thing to do, it is a moral imperative. And your launching the SunHak Peace Prize shows the power of family bonds. I would like to recognize, as I always do, my dear wife of 35 years, Grace. She's not here today, but I'm sure she's watching this live telecast at home. Grace has been my pillar of support, strength, and success. Without her, I will not be where I am today. I love you and I appreciate you more today than when you agreed to marry a young man who did not have much to offer than his love, affection, and commitment and dreams. For believing in me and in us. Thank you, honey, and I love you. The human race is one family, regardless of nationality, religion, race, or color. We all have the same blood running right through our bodies. We are all citizens of our world. When one suffers, everyone does. There's a tremendous suffering going on in the world today. Over 850 million people are hungry, with over 150 million children malnourished. While progress is being made, we are not winning the war on global hunger. There cannot be peace in the world that is hungry. Hunger persists in regions and places going through conflicts, wars, and fragility. Those who suffer the most are women and children. When the ego and the pride of the mighty clash, the consequences are felt by the weakest among us, children. They do not create wars, but the war's children suffer the most from it. The pictures of walking skeletons breaks our hearts, eyes so hollow, with hearts beating from skeletal stomachs, which seems to say, Mama, why is it that I'm not getting food? But their mamas are also not getting food. God made stomachs to be filled, not to go hungry. Today, the budgets we spend on military far exceeds what we are putting to improve agriculture and feed ourselves. The world, ladies and gentlemen, cannot plow with guns, and beans and rice seeds are needed more than bullets. Seeds give life. Bullets end life. In the 700s, a Bible prophet by the name Isaiah urged that the world should turn its swords into plows and spears into pruning forks, and that they learn to cease from war. War builds nothing. To secure our world, we must end the endless desire to look for reasons for conflict. Let's instead find reasons to increase support for millions of the poor to feed our world. For a peaceful world will be a food-secure world. There must be accountability for the poor, and we must reduce global income inequality. Think about it. Only 1% of the rich in the world own almost 50% of global wealth. The poor are stuck eating from the crumbs that fall from their table, if any at all. We need wealth, yes, but we need wealth for everyone, not just a few. The sense of exclusion and lack of equity or fairness often drives conflicts. But nothing drives conflict more than corruption. Corruption is like a blazing fire. It destroys everything in its path. Children cannot go to school or attend poor schools. Hundreds of millions go hungry every day. People without insurance, who at the first illness spend their entire livelihoods just to survive, if ever they can. The hope of the future. The youth are wasted on our streets. Millions go without health insurance. Those who hope to make it in the cities end up in growing urban sprawls and slums, their future drowned. Yet resources meant for them are lost to the rising wave of corruption. There's a compelling need for public accountability for people, especially for the poor, whose only hope is for governments to help them unlock possibilities for a better future for them and for their children. I remember when I was Minister of Agriculture, you saw it in the video, when I had to fight corruption. We succeeded in ending 40 years of corruption in the fertilizer and seed sector, using a simple tool, mobile phones, to deliver electronic vouchers directly to farmers. Dr. Brian Kobe was there, so he knows. This allowed farmers to buy seeds and fertilizers themselves from private sector suppliers. We cut off all the middlemen, the rent seekers, who for decades have gotten fat on government contracts, while the poor were drained. We ended government direct distribution of seeds and fertilizers. It was tough. The most dangerous things I ever did in my life, but it worked. Within 4 years, the system reached over 15 million farmers. One of the farmers, a woman, told me, holding up her mobile phone, she received her electronic vouchers. She said to me, "Now we can live with pride." This electronic wallet system for farmers is now gone global, and now at the African Development Bank, we're helping to expand it across several African countries. The poor do not need handouts, but they need accountable governments. The United Nations estimates that corruption costs a whopping $3 trillion per year globally in terms of bribes and stolen monies. Just think of what that can do. The World Economic Forum estimates that it will take $116 billion per year to feed the world and end hunger. It will take $8.5 billion per year to eliminate malaria. Now that's only 0.28% of what's lost to corruption globally every year. It will take $26 billion a year to send all kids to school. I grew up in a village. All of them will go to school around the world. The International Atomic Agency estimates that for $31 billion a year, we will have energy, electricity for everyone. Now that's just 1%. And what's lost to corruption globally? Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, corruption does not invest in the future. It kills the future. That's why at the African Development Bank, we're working so hard with the support of our board, with governments to improve transparency, governance, accountability across our continent. We are improving transparency in the delivery and implementation of our projects. And I'm so glad to let you know that in this year, the African Development Bank was rated by Publish What You Fund as the 4th most transparent institution in the world. We are working hard to build a brighter future for the continent. The African Development Bank, we are investing $24 billion under a new and bold Feed Africa initiative that will help the continent to achieve food security within 10 years. We are already reaching millions of farmers. We expect to reach more than 35 million farmers. To light up and empower Africa and provide universal access to electricity, the bank is investing $12 billion with the goal of leveraging $45 to $50 billion over 5 years. A lot of progress has been made, and in the last 5 years, we've provided electricity to 25 million people. Thank you, but yet, there's still much to do to make the world a better place for all. That's why the SunHak Peace Prize is a great inspiration for me. It's a call to do more for the least privileged around the world, and especially in Africa. Nothing is more important than ensuring that we feed the world and eliminate hunger and malnutrition. Hunger is an indictment on the human race. Any economy that claims growth without feeding its people is a failed economy. Nobody has to go hungry. White, black, pink, orange, or any color that you can think. There must be public accountability, political accountability for hunger around the world. A well-fed and healthy population will work harder and be productive. Lower price for food will expand disposable incomes, allowing households to save and invest in education and health of their children. Healthy populations will live longer, raising long-term savings pool. Above all, well-fed children will learn well, for an empty stomach dulls the brain. And that's why the best infrastructure that we can build is not a road, it's not a port, it's not a rail. It's what I call gray matter infrastructure, the infrastructure of the brain. That's the most important infrastructure that we can build. And nutrition, good nutrition, is the oil for the brain. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us turn our swords into plows and our spears into pruning forks. Let us turn our guns into seed planters and replace bullets with seeds to grow our food. Let us end the indignity of hunger in our world, for God wants it so. And even when Jesus was asked by his disciples to teach them how to pray, the first request was, give us this day our daily bread. That means food first. And that's why I am fully dedicating the whole of the $500,000 cash award of the SunHak Peace Prize to my foundation, the World Hunger Fighters Foundation. To carry on the Lord's request to provide daily bread for everyone around our world. Once again, thank you all very much. God bless you.